Hi everyone, in a previous video we talked about why a recording studio would have a subwoofer in a mix setting. It was quite a long talky video, so we're going to try and get this one to be a bit more practical. This is going to be talking about where that subwoofer should go, so this is sub placement. And to take it a step further, if you're going to place your subwoofer, why not have two? So this video specifically is brought to you in collaboration with Adam Audio. So the last video was one off my own bat talking about why you would have a subwoofer. This one is completely, to be open and honest with you, paid for by them. But we're going to talk about where your subwoofer should go. There is a lot of discussion around this. Some people believe that it doesn't matter where you put a subwoofer in context because theory goes that the human ear cannot perceive where low frequencies come from. Other people believe that you can hear where they come from, and other people still go further into it and talk about harmonics. Now, I'm going to play you 3 clips back to back as a blind test. I'm going to use one subwoofer, and this is a track called Man I Want to Be from a band called Banana Ranch, who are friends of mine. And I'm going to not put it on the screen, but I'm going to put the sub on the left, in the middle, and on the right. I'm not going to tell you which order they're in first. I want you to just listen to this, and you will need headphones that can do a lot of low end. I mean, ironically, it's kind of hard to hear low end without low end system. But have a listen to this, see if you can pick out where that subwoofer is. So there's going to be A, B, and C. Have a listen.
But love can seem so galling, the starts and stops and stalling. I really hope that you will be the one to light a better path, oh yeah. But love can seem so galling, the starts and stops and stalling. I really hope that you will be the one to light a better path, oh yeah. But love can seem so galling, the starts and stops and stalling.
Okay, so the grand reveal. B was the sub on the left, C was the sub on the right, and A was the sub dead center. Now, in an ideal world, I would have a sub dead center, but it's quite awkward because then it goes where your legs are when you sit. In this particular configuration as well, the subs are maybe 12 inches, 18 inches in front of where the near fields are. That's just a compromise because of where the speakers can physically go. But having said that, we're changing this all round soon, so I'm going to try and get the speakers and the subs completely parallel so that the sound comes at you all at once. We'll see about that. Could you hear a difference? I certainly could, although it was very difficult to pick out. I'm going to try a blind test again, same 3, but I'm going to switch them round again. And this time, I'm using a filter on the song at 100 Hz. That's a 24 decibel filter, so only anything below 100 Hz and a tiny bit above is going to be heard. So this is basically sub only. See if you can hear the difference now without the rest of the song. A, B, and C. Here we go. Okay, so this time it was as written. A was the left, B was the middle, C was the right. Could you hear the difference that time? What I think's interesting here is that the super low stuff, like especially in the kick drum in this mix had stuff going down to 40 hertz, and maybe just a little bit lower than that, but I still, in the mix, made sure that nothing below that got in because it was just rumble. Here's the thing. I initially did that mix and made sure there was no sub stuff in the kick, and then the whole song just sounded a bit weak, so I put that back. But I wouldn't have known the difference without having that subwoofer, and that made a big difference. I mean, I was aware of it on headphones, but with the sub, so playing at a playable volume, say 85, 90 dB in a room, that suddenly became really evident. Now, here's the next step. If you could hear a difference with the placement, then you can justify having stereo subs. Because if you can hear the left and you can hear the right, then why not have one on the left and one on the right? There are several reasons why I chose to do this, partly because I'm insane, but also partly because then one sub is dedicated to one near field monitor. Because something that I thought was, with the two inputs to this and the two outputs on the back of one of these, it's summing the bass to whatever side your sub is on. And in a mixing context, that might not matter. In a mastering context, though, I want to be able to hear if there's any low-end issues on one particular side, which means I need that to be coming out of that side. It may make no difference, it may be a difference. I'd like to think that maybe I can pick out the differences. I do this for a living. Maybe I can't, maybe it's all just in my head. I mean, I'm not going to be Mr. Big I Am to say, oh, I can pick it out at 20 hertz. Maybe. One thing that I definitely did want, though, is because Adam Audio recommended the sub 10 to go with the A7Xs. The reason they recommended that was because as you start to crank the volume up, the sub 8 can't really handle all that bass compared to the two tops. But I figured if I got two of these, that spreads the load evenly. And that seems to have worked, that I've managed to get the volume on this system to far beyond a point that I'm comfortable with, without being able to hear anything in the way of the system distorting or giving up. It just continues to punch, continues to have that low end. And, like I say, that's much louder than I would ever mix at. But sometimes you just want to impress a band that's in. Now, that's a lot of talking. So again, this is another comparison of three. So this is no sub at all, this is one sub dead center, and this is two subs in stereo, back to back. And this time I'm not going to hide them from you, I'm actually going to show them. It may give you some sort of user bias. I'll be interested to hear that, because the low end in the A7Xs is solid. It just doesn't go down far enough for me. So here's no subs, one sub, two subs.
But love can seem so galling, the starts and stops and stalling. I really hope that you will be the one to light a better path, oh yeah. But love can seem so galling, the starts and stops and stalling. I really hope that you will be the one to light a better path, oh yeah. But love can seem so galling, the starts and stops and stalling.
Briefly going to mention that was recorded using SE Electronics SE5s, which can go down to 20 Hz according to their spec sheet. And so, yeah, there's no filters, no pads or anything on them. There's no pads on the Audient interface. There's no filters. So what you're hearing there should be pretty much straight. And like I said before, the mids and the highs might be putting you off hearing the difference. So here's those three again, with just the filtered 100 Hz and below. No sub, one sub, two subs. Now, for me, this is a complete system, and this is something I'm very happy with. Something that's worth noting is that once I was happy with the levels of the subs and where the filter points should be and all that kind of stuff, I then ran this system through SonarWorks 4, which, cheeky plug, there is a referral code in the description if you're looking at using SonarWorks and want to help me out, where SonarWorks takes what you have, no matter how well treated your room is, no matter how good your system is, and finds issues with the whole setup. So it uses its own measurement reference mic and gives you a plot and sorts everything out for you. In my case, the left-hand side of the setup with this sub was pretty linear, and the right-hand side had a big dip around, I think it was 80 Hz. It turns out that's because I've got a big curve in this room on the right-hand side, and no amount of bass trapping was helping there. So by SonarWorks helping me out there, that wasn't to do with the sub, that was to do with the room. And that had been corrected somewhat when I was just using the tops, but the fact that the sub could reach much lower down, much more accurately, did mean that there was an issue in the room, and it certainly wasn't the sub's fault. So the other things we're talking about is total value. A pair of A7Xs and a pair of sub 8s is less than £2,000. So I don't know, $2,000. And to me, this is all I will arguably ever need. There are mid-field monitors you can get. There are some seriously high-end monitors that start to get to £4,000, £6,000, £8,000, crazy numbers. And I'm not sure I need any of that, because this is very linear as far as I'm concerned, especially with SonarWorks being the cherry on the top. So I'm going to put this down now because it's really heavy. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'm Adam Steele for Hot Pole Studios, and I hope you've enjoyed this subwoofer placement video. There's a lot more to come on the channel, so stick around, give us a like, hit the subscribe button. There's a lot more kind of independent videos that we do as well, comparing speakers, cabinets, ohms, all sorts of stuff to do with guitars and mixing and mastering. So stick around for that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this, feel free to check out our other videos, as you can find here, or check out our Facebook and Twitter, or our Patreon page, which helps us to make more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.